Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Wednesday, May 11th, 2022. I am Joe Sarvati, and I can't see because of the glare to see who that other guy is. I think it's brought to you by our sponsor, Grayson Allen, today.
Oh, God.
Crash lost another side bet, so we got the dome today. It's blurred up all our screens. Everything's out of whack, so you'll have to forgive us. But Crash, how are you this morning, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm excited for tonight. Nervous, but as we say, and as they've been saying all week in Milwaukee, you can't win in 6 if you don't lose 2. So that's kind of the deal.
All right, yeah, it's going to be an intense game. I was sort of devastated by my poor Mavericks performance last night, so I'm now chasing as well. So we'll see what happens and if they can get back and get in it. But we are here to talk to you about the 2-game NBA playoff slate, as we always do. We bring you these podcasts in front of the paywall 7 days a week, and you get to see fun things like Crash paying off his side bets and having to go no hat. And, we respect somebody paying off their side bets correctly. It is consecutive losses for you, so may have to let you pick the next side bet since it's not going too well. But we are here, as always, 7 days a week in front of the paywall. So if you're watching right now on YouTube, click that thumbs up. Give us a comment. You enjoy the symmetry of Crash's skull, or whatever you want to say is welcome. And we'd love to have you comment. If you're listening audio-wise, you miss out on the best part of this, but if you can leave a quick 5-star and comment, we will have a drawing at the end of the month for a free 1-week membership at Coach Talk. So, all right, we are ready to dive into this. Our presenting sponsor today is BetUS.com.pa. For all of your wagering needs, they are fantastic. I've been there 16 years. Go to BetUS.com.pa, sign up with the promo code Coach Talk. And on that initial deposit, if you deposit just $79, you get to play that on anything you want on BetUS, and you get a free 1-month membership at Coach Talk. A full month. It's a $75 value in itself. So just hit us up on Twitter. We're at DFS Coach Talk. Let us know that you just signed up for the BetUS deal, and we will get you into our Discord in a matter of minutes. And in our Discord, we will give additional prize picks plays, full lineups for Yahoo and FanDuel, and clipboards and core plays for our DraftKings players. So, all right, man, no further ado here. It is Milwaukee and Boston in game 1, and certainly a game that you have a lot of interest in. Boston is favored by 5.5, and it's a 214 total. It's 104.25 implied for Milwaukee, 109.75 implied for Boston. And I'll just mention it here because really the totals and the spreads aren't going to mean much today because Golden State's favored by 4. The total's 218 there. So it's just a couple of points difference all the way across the board. So it's lay your best out there and bring home the bacon and go from there. So let's go ahead and break this Bucks team up for us. Let us know what we can expect.
Okay. So we got to start with Giannis. Obviously, he's 11.5 on FanDuel, 11.6 on DraftKings, so his price is going up. He had another strong game in game 4 with 34 points, 18 rebounds, 5 assists. I think Boston is pretty much content with letting him get whatever he wants as long as they slow everybody else down. And I think the Bucks are going to go back to their game 1 strategy in this game. And I think that Giannis is going to be used more to facilitate and get everyone else involved because they can't win this series if they keep, just doing it with Giannis and Holiday.
Yeah, they definitely need some additional help. And by the way, Middleton remains out, and George Hill, who played a pretty big role, got decent minutes last time out, is probable, so he'll probably go. But when we go over the Boston side, Hauser's out. He's not in the rotation. But the big thing is going to be Robert Williams. He's truly questionable. He was a late scratch in the last game with knee soreness. So I have no clue if he's going to go or not. What are you anticipating there as far as Milwaukee facing that front line with the superstar Michael Jordan-esque Al Horford? Or do you think Robert Williams will play?
Oh man. I think Robert Williams will play, but
Okay.
I mean he played in game 3 and Horford still had a big game. So I don't know how much that's going to matter. I think Williams is going to be, for him, it's going to be, or for Boston, it's going to be more about his defense and what he brings defensively. That's going to be key with him. And anything he gets for offense is going to be gravy, for Robert. So
Yeah.
Going back to the Bucks, though, Holiday is 8,800 on FanDuel. He's 8,200 on DraftKings. He was awful from a shooting standpoint, going 5 of 22.
Yeah,
but
rough.
he did have, real rough. He did have 7 rebounds and 9 assists, so he still ended up with like 43.8 DraftKings points. So still doing, decent fantasy wise. I think he's going to shoot better in this game, and I think that he'll cause some problems for Boston with his defense as he has been. So right now I'm leaning towards him in tournaments, and Steph and Cash is kind of what I'm looking at. But that's what I'm looking at there. I think Bobby Portis is going to be one of the pivotal players in this game. He's 5,100 on FanDuel, 5,500 on DraftKings. He was limited to 15 minutes in game 4 for we don't even know why.
What is the I couldn't get that. Did you have any feel for that?
It made no sense to me, but I mean, I've seen in the past where these rotations have gotten kind of screwy, and Coach Bud has, kind of fixed it in the next game. So I think that'll happen in this game. I definitely think that he's going to be back. I think he's going to be back in the starting lineup, honestly, to help slow down Horford. But if he isn't, then I still think he'll play a lot more minutes, and I think he's going to be a key play. They have to use him to slow down Horford because Brook Lopez can't do it. I mean, that's been proven time and time again. Right. And he's below 6K on both sites. And I think he's going to get, 25 to 30 fantasy points is what I'm projecting for Portis tonight. So that's closer to what he got in the first 2 games. And I think that's where he's going to be. Lopez, I think, is another strong play. He's been getting 25 to 30 fantasy points in most of these games, even in the first couple of games where he wasn't doing hardly anything offensively. So if he ever puts both together with a strong defensive and offensive game, he could really have a really nice night. But he's 5,600 on FanDuel, 4,800 on DraftKings. I think that he's still going to be involved offensively like he has been in the last 2 games, and his defense is always, good. So he's another guy that's in play for me as a little bit of a value. And then the biggest value option for me for the Bucks would be Pat Connaughton. He's 3,800 on DraftKings. He's been their best player off the bench in this series, and he makes for a good value option. So that's my look at the Bucks. Don't even talk to me about Grayson Allen.
It's amazing because I was hoping he'd only get like 20, 22 minutes. He got almost 29 minutes. And still couldn't get 13 and a half fantasy points for you. So, he almost looks scared or tentative out there.
Well, and then even though that's true, the first play of the game, he goes in, drives a lane, and gets a layup. So what happened after that, I have no idea.
Yeah, it was bizarre. But I don't see how you can go to him or Wesley Matthews. Wesley Matthews played 29 minutes. He had no rebounds, no assists.
That's Wesley Matthews is a defensive guy, and that's what they need him for. They don't.
Doesn't the ball bounce to you once in a while, or you happen to have passed to a guy that shoots?
I mean, he'll get a couple threes every now and then, but that's about the extent of his offensive game. So
I mean, it narrows the Bucks that you can roster. First of all, you said Giannis is going to be more of a facilitator. Does that mean you're considering not playing him?
No, I'm still going to play him in tournaments, but I think my cash strategy is going to be to use Tatum and Brown and Steph. And fade Giannis. So,
well, I'm a 1,000,000% in on Giannis again. I don't know how you have to have rocks in your head if you play a cash or a single entry without Giannis, because, and I've said this, and for those that listen all the time, I'm sorry you're hearing this for the 5th time, but you just can't chase those raw points. The dude's just insane. He took 32 shots again, 0 for 4 from 3. So I'm not sure why he's shooting them. Only 6 for 11 from the line. 54% is not good, but it doesn't matter. I mean, so if some of those go in, it's just going to add to it. 18 rebounds, 5 assists.
Yeah.
I mean, he had no steals and blocks and still had that big number. So
well, if you go back to what game was it? 2, I guess, when they played in Boston last.
Yeah.
Tatum and Brown were like each 50% owned in cash.
Right.
So you can't be playing, those two and Giannis.
No.
And have a very strong lineup. So that's kind of my thinking there, is that if that happens again with Tatum and Brown with their ownership, that Giannis is going to be lower owned. So we'll see. But yeah, I do. I think Giannis is going to be used more, not completely as a facilitator, obviously, but I don't think he's going to have a 40-point game tonight.
Well, you said what I think is the case at the start. That Boston has said, okay, we can beat you. Giannis can have 40 points and 20 rebounds, whatever, but you don't have anything else that's going to beat us. Holiday's the guy that could, but he was 5 for 22 last game. But I just, I don't understand how their strategy would change. Boston's, 2-2. They're playing with this strategy. It seems to work. So it's just Giannis is. I think super highly owned.
That's the Boston way to look at it, but I think Milwaukee knows that they're not going to win the series if they keep playing that way. That's why I think that Giannis is going to be more, involved in getting other people involved. And Milwaukee hasn't shot well in this series. They have not shot from the 3-point line the way they normally do. So if they can get, Connaughton and Holiday and Portis and Lopez, I mean, all those guys can hit threes. So that's how I think they win this series.
Well, it could be. I mean, you can only use what the defense gives you sometimes too. And if you're letting Giannis go one-on-one with somebody, I'm going to give him the damn ball every time. So I mean, we'll see. It's very interesting. Giannis, great play, obviously. The decisions come in. Do you want to spend up for Drew Holiday again? I know I was super frustrated because I had Holiday and Giannis in all my lineups, and he could not drop the ball in the ocean. 22% from the field, 16% from 3. That's not going to win you a lot of games. But I think some of those shots will go in. I mean, the bottom line is, I said in the last podcast we did together with these matchups, I said if Giannis and Holiday continue to get 50 shots up between them, I'll take them every time. Granted, it didn't work with Holiday for us, but they got up 54 shots combined.
Yeah.
And, Holiday will make some of those, though. I really believe that. And I think he's a great play. I'm still from that school of thought, Giannis and Holiday and pray for rain, like the old Spawn Insane Spain pray for rain. You know that old statement, the Washington Senators?
I'm not familiar with that one, but
look it up. Spawn in Spain and pray for rain. They had 2 pitchers. They both pitched like 50 games that year. That was back in the 20s. But anyway, complete digression of no sensibility here, other than the fact that Milwaukee has 2 guys that I want. I'm scared about everybody else. I'm scared about Portis with that 14-minute and something. I don't get it. I do agree with you. He's going to get more. Connaughton has played so great and limited, again, 50% shooting, 7 rebounds. I hope he keeps it up, but I'm just scared of regression. Plus now this George Hill component, 23 minutes looking like Coach Bud wants to play him more. How's that going to affect that rotation with Connaughton, Portis, and Allen and Matthews? It just I'm uneasy about the rest of the guys. So anyway, that's where
they're so. It's like Kenny Smith has been saying, the Bucks are a really good team without Middleton, but Middleton makes them a balanced team. I think that's a really good way to say it. And they're so inconsistent without him. So
yes, they absolutely just miss the heck out of Middleton because he makes all of that come together.
Yeah.
On the Boston side, They shared the ball decently. Horford 11 for 14 though is mind bending, and
Yeah.
that dunk he had on Giannis, dude, I jumped out of my seat. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It was so intense. I don't know how Horford's doing this, or if you can continue to depend on him to do it. 42 minutes for
Yeah.
old Al Horford.
I
You
know.
know,
And only one
30
day between
points.
games too now. So
I know. And so, I mean, I don't know. Do we go back to him or not? Is he a reasonable fade? I got smoked with Grant Williams didn't show up the last game. So
mhm.
I still think he'll get good minutes. But you have almost not quite the same scenario, but Tatum and Brown are the two guys. You can't afford both, in my opinion. You got to make your decision there. Tatum's a lot more, but Tatum had a fantastic game the last go around. So I think you'll see both of those guys get owned. The thing that surprised me the most, and I'm not going to overreact to it though, but how about Derek White grabbing 34 minutes and
Mhm.
producing?
Yeah.
Are you gonna go to a Derek White now as like their sixth man?
I'm actually leaning more towards Grant Williams, which is going
Okay,
to surprise some people. But I think that this whole situation with Horford. I mean, he's been their best player in this series because
it's
he's most
incredible.
consistent. He had another career game after he had a career game in Game 3. But I mean, Coach Udoka, and it kind of upset me honestly what he was saying. It was like, as long as they're going to play us like this, Horford's just going to do what he does, and they can't stop us, and da 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 da. Like he
Huh.
just came across as kind of arrogant to me. And I think that they're going to put Portis on him to slow him down. And if you look at the regular season numbers, Horford didn't have those big games, so it's kind
No,
of been an anomaly. But also back then, Lopez wasn't on the team because he was hurt, so that makes more sense. But I do think that Portis is going to slow Horford down. I still think that he's in play in cash just because I think he's going to be highly owned. But his price is going up. He's 7,900 on FanDuel, 7,300 on DraftKings.
right.
And I just think that, Milwaukee knows they have to slow him down and they can't just let him keep doing what he's been doing, because when he's basically negating what Giannis is doing, there's no way they're going to win. So,
No way. But I mean, I think there's value with Grant Williams, but
mhm.
really after that, there's no value on Boston. You can't play Tice or Pritchard. I think Derek White's a trap. Personally, I'm not going to play him at all.
Yeah, I like Marcus Smart a little bit, but it's not really a value play.
No,
You know,
he's
5,300
expensive.
on FanDuel, 5,900 on DraftKings.
Yeah,
But I think he's a
that's
good
not.
pivot from Jones if
He
you
is a
want
good
tournaments.
pivot. He
Yeah,
is, but I mean, that's about the best you can get. And he did, I was a little concerned that last game because he missed a game with that sore quad or whatever, or
right.
hamstring, and he played 41 minutes, 21 seconds, so he's fine. So yeah, I guess Smart or Grant Williams if you want to go cheap, and then, if you're going to believe Horford's going to continue this streak, or make that choice between Tatum or Brown, unless somebody's going to fade Giannis and wants to play both Boston guys, but I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to be that guy.
I know. We're on opposite sides of the coin today, but it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
It
yeah,
gives our listeners a chance, and I can see your logic there. I mean,
yeah.
they're going to shoot the ball a ton, and it's going to be hard for you to watch that with your rooting side to your DFS lineup side. But
So do you think, because I was thinking that Tatum and Brown would actually be higher owned than Giannis, do you think Giannis will still be higher owned?
yes,
Okay.
I
I'll
think
probably flip my lineup then. I'll probably go with Giannis in cash and then Tatum and Brown in tournaments.
yeah, and I really truthfully do. He's been so dominant, and that theme has been, you can't afford to chase those points. And if you look at the lineups that are winning on the Milwaukee days that are playing, Giannis is in all of them.
Yeah.
So except for the one game, but
Right, which was game 2, I'm sure.
game 2, yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not saying that your way can't make it, because he is super expensive. So,
Mhm.
it may be a good option for you. All right, let's go to game 2. And this one's going to be interesting as well. Golden State at Memphis. Golden State's favored by 4. It's a 218 total, 111 implied for Golden State, 107 for the Memphis Grizzlies. As far as injuries, we already know Iguodala and Payton are out for Golden State, and then Aldama and Tilly are always out. But the big news is Ja Morant out for the rest of the playoffs, is what I read, with a bone bruise in his knee. Now, that was really confusing to me, but it must be a hell of a bruise. I'm not sure when it happened or if it was when he got his knee grabbed or what, but seemed like an odd thing to me. Just boom, he's out for the rest of the playoffs, not even just the series.
I mean, it could be, kind of the original injury compounding this. I don't know if it's that, but it's interesting for sure.
I mean, it changes everything, and brutal loss for Memphis, and really for all of us, because he is so much fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
So it changes everything. We went to Tyus Jones as our number one play last time, and he was great. And I'll certainly be going back there. But man, does it that I was really shocked by that news. I couldn't believe that the dude's like done. He's out for the entire playoffs. But
yeah,
you never know. It's just it's a knee twist away from having a totally different look. So I guess my question to you is, does Memphis fold up? They're down 3-1. They lost their MVP guy. Is Golden State just come into town and dust them and finish them off? Because if that's the case and they hammer them, then maybe we stack that first game. If you think Memphis is going to fight, I have the tendency to believe in the statistics, and Memphis still, they're like 20-5 or something without Ja. So they play hard, they play well, and they're playing at home. I think Memphis can hang in there. I don't think they can really win, but I looked at that Vegas spread and I thought, wow, no Ja Morant. Why is that spread, only 4? I would, without Ja, I'm thinking it would have been 7. So Vegas is usually pretty smart here. What do you think about the game scripting of this game?
Yeah, it's really tough. It's got to be tough for Memphis because they should have won. They should have won Game 4. They outplayed Golden State the whole game basically until the very end, the last 5 minutes or so.
Right.
And they just kind of lost the game at the end. And Golden State didn't play well at all, and they still won the game. So it's hard to see Memphis winning this game, but it's also hard for me to see Memphis just laying down. So I do think Memphis will make it a close game, but I do expect Golden State to win.
Yeah, I think so too. But if we look at Memphis, let's take a quick gander there. They ended up their shot breakdown was interesting. 21 shots for Jaren Jackson Jr., 19 for Brooks, and 18 for Tyus Jones. But then they had a lot of contributors. Steven Adams, who played for the first time in the series, with 9. Somehow Desmond Bane only got up 8 shots, and he buried my lineup last time. Absolutely buried me. In 36 minutes, he only got 8 shots up and 1 rebound. So he has to be playing hurt.
There has to be something because it's like he's not even trying to score. I mean,
I don't get it.
And he gets a shot every now and then he goes and takes that last minute, long 3-point shot at the buzzer and makes it. It's like, dude, why weren't you doing that the whole game?
Something is way out of whack with him. Yeah. But my top play last time, man, Tyus Jones played 41 minutes. Here's a guy that doesn't even get in sometimes for 10, 15 minutes. 41 minutes, 8 for 18 from the line. He had 3 threes, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and very impressively, only 1 turnover. To be thrust into, that much on your shoulders, he just, at his price, he'll probably be the highest owned player on the slate.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, he came up 1,500 on DraftKings and like 2,000 on FanDuel. So
still too low,
went up, but it's still too low.
Yeah.
When he's playing, at that production is more like a 7K player. So
right.
Yeah, so Jones definitely probably gonna be the highest owned player on the slate. I like Dylan Brooks more than Bane. I just don't trust Bane at all right now. So I think he's the better play between the two. And then Jaren Jackson, I don't know how you don't go to him as much as we talk about his inconsistencies and he's let us down in this series. He's been Memphis's best player. So
the thing with him is
without Morant, obviously.
Yeah, 5 fouls again though. It's just the
Right.
terror of his stupid fouls. It's a real thing, man. I mean, I
Yeah.
find myself, if I roster him, I'm watching him only and thinking to myself, don't step in there, don't reach, don't be an idiot. And he
Right.
just picks up the worst fouls. So I get it. I know he's been great and a lot's gonna depend on him. And he got over 20 shots up. I don't know, man. I don't know if I have the courage to push that button.
I mean, with that being said, Steven Adams wasn't too far behind him in his production, so you could definitely look at him too.
And he played 27 minutes, which shocked me too. The guy that's all of a sudden, I mean, he had like 3 great games in a row. Brandon Clark's like just out of the mix again. He's just done 11 minutes, a couple shots. That's it. So,
and Melton too. I mean, he just completely off the radar. So
they both had great games in this series, and now they're both not really getting in there much. So, I don't know how you trust Melton, Clark, Williams, or Anderson, any of those guys off the bench. It looks like it's down to, Brooks, Jackson, Adams, Bane, and Jones. And I think Adams people are going to flock to him because of his price.
Yeah.
15 rebounds in 27 minutes is pretty stout.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I do like Kyle Anderson though a little bit.
Do you? Okay,
a little bit. I mean,
he 7 for 8 from the field in 23 minutes. 8 rebounds too.
Right. He's what's his price again? I remember him being cheaper on DraftKings. I was trying to remember what his.
He's pretty cheap. I just don't trust him. I can't stand these guys that have a 7 for 8 game, play low 20s. Everybody goes ape, what for them, and then all of a sudden their next game they're 15 minutes with 3 points.
He's 4,300 on DraftKings, so it's a solid price.
It is. He'll be owned, but I think he's a trap. I really do. I'm gonna go with the guys that I know are going to get some minutes, like the Adams and, the Smarts and the guys that you can get at least at a price that's reasonable. And then you don't have to dig, because it is tough when you have these bench guys and you're sweating, just trying to get them in there enough.
Right.
But I think the key player in this entire slate is Jackson, though. Those that just go with him, if he does great, and those of us that are probably going to fade him and hope he does one of his foul fiascos, I think that'll be the shift difference of how people are going to do on this slate.
Yeah, I'm looking at him as a pivot from Horford, and I think that in tournaments, Horford's going to be, for a pivot, Jackson would be a nice play from Horford. Is what I was trying to say. So.
Right. We'll have to see the ownership. They'll both be owned, so we're going to have to see how that shakes out. But the dilemma for me, Crash, is going to be Desmond Bane. I know you warned me last time something's wrong with him. He's not right, and I stuck with him for the millionth time in a row. But it may be time to get off that bandwagon. It's funny though. This would be the 3rd time in a row. I said that with Harden. He went nuts. I said that with Stinkin' Struce with Deb the other day. He had a really nice game. So I guess if I do it with Bane, you probably should own him out there, because he'll probably have one of those 8 3-point games,
Yeah. I mean, he's due. He definitely has anything remotely close to that lately.
I mean, if they have a chance to win this game, he's got to do well. I mean, let's face it. He's probably the best offensive player that they have without Jaw out there, in my opinion. I just think he's better. He's better than Brooks, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. You would never think that, though, watching this series. I mean, he's
God, no.
A role player that should come off the bench.
He looks like Reggie Bullock, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. All right. Prize picks, my friend.
We didn't do Golden State.
Oh, we have to talk about Golden State?
Yeah.
I forgot about them.
Skip them. Yeah.
I mean, who cares about Golden State? They're going to win.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding you. How about the Kuminga start? Thank goodness I got off of him. 5 minutes, 28 seconds, 0 shots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a trap of all traps right there. Holy cow.
It was a major trap. So you've got Wiggins played 40 minutes, Draymond 33, Clay 39, Steph 38, Poole 33. But then you had Otto Porter 26, 16 for Looney, and 13 for Lee. So it's the main guys, Wiggins, Green, Thompson, Curry, and Poole. The only other guy I guess you could talk about is Porter, but you got to have a little courage to go there. Is Porter on your radar?
Yeah, he is. He's had double-digit, point games in back-to-back games now. And the other thing with him is he's been putting up really the same numbers as Draymond Green. He's 2,000 cheaper. So I like the salary savings there for sure. And I like Poole. He's below 7K now on both sites. So I do like him. And obviously Curry, all starts and ends with him. So I think he has one of those big, 3-point games. He hasn't really had one of those in this series yet. If you look at what he did in the regular season, he had just under 6 threes made per game against Memphis. And we haven't seen that from him yet. So I think that he's going to have one of those kind of games tonight.
Do you know off the top of your head how many shots Draymond Green took in the entire game last game?
Too many.
Take a guess.
2.
He took 2 shots. Great call. He was 1 for 2 from the field in 33 minutes of play. Mind-boggling. So I just don't know how you pay that money for him. And we talked about last time too.
Yeah.
What if it's a game where he gets up 2 or 3 shots? Well, he did. He took 2 shots.
Yep. He'll get 2 or 3 shots and about 7 rebounds and like 4 assists. That's what he's been doing almost every game. So
yeah, I don't know. He's tough to take, but I'll tell you who's been really nice for me the last 2 times, and nobody talks about him, but Wiggins.
Yeah.
Wiggins played almost 40 minutes again, 7 for 13 from the field. He hit a 3. He had 10 rebounds, an assist, a steal, and 2 blocks.
Yeah.
So I think he's in the mix. His price isn't bad.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I agree. He's priced right around Portis and Brooks and some of those guys. So I think he's a good play.
He's a good pivot. The big question is, who do you go with I call the 3 of them Splash Brothers now. Do you spend the big money on Curry, a decent amount of money on Clay, or a little cheaper with Poole?
Mm-hmm.
That's the tough call. They combined for 57 shots, so they're all going to shoot.
Yeah. Yeah, so I like Steph.
Okay.
Steph and Poole, for me would be the 2. Clay, I'm not as high on. He's like almost 8K now on DraftKings.
I know.
Which doesn't make a lot of sense considering how he's been playing. So yeah, that's kind of where I got that whole Steph, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown thing for my cash games, but it may change now the more we've been talking, but I still like Steph either way.
I'll tell you where I'm going to go this game, and this is the eye test. For those that don't believe in the eye test, then I think I'm going to say that you're wrong, because you watch guys, you watch their tendencies, you watch how they're being defended, you watch what they're doing on the floor. I watched Klay Thompson quite a bit the last few games, and the last game, he really wanted to get in the flow of the offense. Mm-hmm. And I think Kerr or Mike Brown, who was coaching for Kerr, said, let's get Klay going. And I talked a little bit about this last time, but they need him. He's a volume shooter. He did get up 20 shots.
Yeah.
And he was 6 for 20. But the reason he was 0 for 7 from 3, which is an aberration for sure, he was forcing those shots. He didn't have his feet set, and he was moving, and he was forcing some stuff. And normally the Klay Thompson that we've grown to love is a guy moving without the ball, and he catches with being squared to the hoop. He's got that left foot down. He just brings the right foot a little forward. He's already got the ball up high, and he shoots it. And it was just not in rhythm the last game. And I think he'll adjust to that. He's going to get monster minutes. He'll get you, some rebounds. He's rebounded better in this series,
Right.
and assist to steal, a couple of blocks. But I think he makes the shots. So I'm going full tilt on Klay Thompson today. I'm going to predict he makes at least 5 threes.
Wow. Okay.
I know.
That's a bold call.
That, my
You
prize.
willing to put your hat up for that?
Well, that's, let's see. I'll take whatever his total is on Prize Picks and bet you that.
Okay.
So
I don't even know what his total is.
We'll go to it here in a minute, but
okay.
I love Klay in this game, and I think Poole's price is a little bit better. If you really need to try to squeal in under the salary, Porter's not the worst play, because I do think he'll get the, good 25, 27 minutes. And then Wiggins, so I'm going to try to save a few bucks on this team, with going with secondary and a little bit more value.
So are you leaning more towards the Boston-Milwaukee game for your plays? Or
I am. The reason I am is two things. One, I think Golden State wins this game by double digits. So call me crazy. I'm thinking they win by, 12, 14, something like that, even though the spread's only 4. Yeah. So I think that takes the little edge off right down at the end of the game. Memphis plays way better defense, by the way, when Jaw's out and Tyus Jones is in. So you're saying, okay, coach, wait, you're saying against yourself. No, what I'm saying is the score, I think, for both sides is a little lower because of the defense. Golden State still play great D, and Memphis has to try to score without, Jaw. And so I think both teams score less. I'd play, which normally doesn't go together. I'd play Golden State the favorite with the under. So I'm going to have some representation in this game, but more of a value side. Where I'm going to spend my money is more so in that first game, Milwaukee and Boston, because I think you got guys in there that can break the slate. There's three guys at least in that game that could drop 70 fantasy points. So I think that's more likely. That's what I'm leaning towards.
Okay.
All right. You ready for prize picks?
Yep.
Clicking on NBA. So we've got our side, but you're going for 3 losses in a row here. That would be
I haven't agreed to it yet, though. I was just saying.
All right, his over under threes is 3.
Oh, I'm not taking that bet.
I'll go up to 3.5 if you want it. So he has to make it at least 4.
I need over 5 if I'm going to take a bet, because that's what you said. So
I don't know if I have the courage to just play that haphazardly of 5 when it's only 3. How about I'll tell you what, I'll go 4. So if we tie, nobody loses at 4. That's still 4. 1 higher than what he's judged at.
Okay. So if he gets 4, then nothing happens. But if he gets less than 4, then you got to put up the hat.
And when he gets more than 4, you'll have 3 straight. No hat. And we're going to start losing customers because they don't have their sunglasses with them when they have to watch.
I'll be done. Making side bets if this happens. At least.
All right. What's your top prize picks play?
My top.
I think it's Giannis assists.
Is Stephen Curry over 3.5 3-pointers made? As I mentioned earlier, he hasn't really had a big 3-point shooting game in this series where he gets, 6 to 7 threes, that kind of a game. Yep. That's kind of what I'm expecting tonight. He averaged 5.7 threes against them in their 3 regular season games, and he hasn't hit more than 5 in one single game this series. So I like Steph to get 5 to 6 threes tonight.
Very nice. I like it. I'll tell you, I'm torn between a few guys in this this next pick. I was going to take Grayson Allen over just to rub it in, but I would not do that.
Oh, what, 1.5 threes?
No, I whatever, anything, but I'm not taking anything with Grayson Allen. So don't
14
worry.
Fantasy score, coach. Do it.
No way. I don't like him at all. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take, it seems like a super crazy reach, but I'm just going to do it anyway. Giannis over 58 fantasy points. I'm barking. You don't want to chase 65.
I mean, I
That's
don't think
8.
that's crazy at all.
That's 7 over what I'm thinking 65. So I'm going over 58. That's a lot of points, fantasy points, but
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
going with it.
59, 77, 49, 58.6. I mean, he's gone over it in 3 or 4 games. That seems doable to me. Even in that first game when he had 13 assists or whatever, 12 assists.
I mean, he's doing it all the way around, and he accidentally got to bank in a 3 or at some point, I would hope.
Right. Well, I'm going to go a little bit more bold with my top play than the Giannis 6.5, which I do like that play as well, assist.
Yeah.
But my top play is going to be Al Horford under 27.5 PRA.
Oh, you hate Al Horford.
He went under that number in the first 2 games of the series in Boston, and I think Milwaukee's going to focus a lot of their defense on him tonight. And so I like the under for Al Horford. Plus, as I mentioned, I think Grant Williams is going to get more usage. He got in foul trouble in the last game, and I think that he's going to have a nice game.
That makes perfect sense. The only thing I'd be concerned about is if Robert Williams does get ruled out because he's questionable.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a little tougher because then he's probably going to get 42 minutes again. But
yeah,
we'll see. Maybe Robert Williams gives it a try. We don't know.
I believe in Portis. That's what it comes down to.
You just hate Al Horford. I saw your garage on Discord.
Yeah, I was throwing it out there for sure after that game. I was pretty upset, but it wasn't just Al Horford. I was more upset at Coach Bud and the Bucks. So
the rotation made no sense. Portis 15 minutes made no sense.
And they had a comfortable lead, and they just completely fell apart on defense in the fourth quarter. I mean, 43 points, and you allow like 40 in the first half. So
doesn't make sense. But I'm sure they're going to come out fired up. It should be a great game.
I mean, I hope so because I'm fired up. So they should be.
Yeah, definitely. All right, man. I want to thank our presenting sponsor, BetUS.com.pa. Again, check them out. Sign up there with a $79 deposit with the promo code Coach Talk. You get a free month of DFS Coach Talk, a $75 value. Just shoot us a message on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk that you signed up for the BetUS deal, and we will get you in our Discord immediately. Also, our partners at Prizepicks, prizepicks.com. Sign up with the promo code Coach Talk, and they will match you dollar for dollar on your first deposit all the way up to $100. On the way out, hit that thumbs up here on YouTube. We'd really appreciate that. That helps us move up the algorithm there. And then we're going to get after it. Check out all our podcasts. They'll all be aired here shortly. We have a PGA, an MLB, and an NBA. So hopefully you can get a bunch of winners, make it a winning Wednesday, as we call it here at Coach Talk. Mm-hmm. Any final words there, Mr. Chrome Dome, for the 3rd straight time, maybe coming up?
Yeah, we'll see about that. No, I mean, I hope the Bucks play well, and I hope they find a way to win it because I think they can win the series if they win tonight. But if they don't, it's going to be tough.
Tell me, I've got that gutless feeling with Dallas right now. I'm sick to my stomach. So we got to see what can happen there. You never know. I mean, that's, they're both in the fight here. So that's all you can do. Keep scrapping. You never know how it's going to turn out.
I mean, they came out strong. They just faded.
Couldn't get it done. Yeah. All right, sir. Appreciate it. Great job as usual. Check us out here. We'll have lineups posting soon here for baseball.
Yeah, about 30 minutes.
Yeah, great stuff. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. And we'll certainly be back again tomorrow when we look to crush it in NBA DFS and Prize Picks.